Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata Deshatarini. Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktabinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Namo Brahmana Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Te Namaha. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. नमः दास ठाकुर की जय. श्री प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा. वेलकम
माताजी.
हरे कृष्णा. प्रणाम सर. हरे कृष्णा. So today we will complete the chapter 5. So we don't have much slides, so we can complete in one day. Can view my screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So I welcome everyone. Understand Bhagavad Gita. This is in 18 weeks actually, not 18 days. So Karma Yoga. Today chapter 5, Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. So which was the other chapter which had the same name? You all should be knowing.
Chapter 3?
Yeah, yes. So let's bear obeisances to Shri Shri Radha Govind, ISKCON Guru, and to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It's not here. Okay, in previous chapter, chapter 4 summary, we saw knowledge about Krishna is transcendental. So one who understands Krishna's birth and activities, he will not have to take birth again in this material world. And also Krishna explained how this knowledge has been transferred from the Raja Rishis, how this has been coming in a descending order. No? And then in section 2, we saw Krishna as the goal of all paths, and he has created the Varnashrama system. Can someone tell me what are the 4 Varnashrama system created by Krishna?
Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sanyasa.
No, yeah, Varnashrama system. I mean to say the caste system. What are the caste which is created based on the quality acquired?
Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Guna Karma Vibhagasha, no? So based on Guna and Karma, Krishna had created that. And whoever surrenders in whichever way, in the same way Krishna reciprocates. Krishna says, Ye yathamam prapadyante. And then section 3 we saw about Karma Yoga, how the Karma is very complicated. We saw that story of a Brahmana and the butcher, no? How the actions will come back to us. Whatever we did karma, we have to bear, and we don't know in which birth we will take that, but we will take it. So, and then in section 4, we saw all sacrifices lead to transcendental knowledge. Summary of transcendental knowledge, Tadvidhi Pranipatena. So in today's chapter, we'll see in section 1, Nishkama Karma Yoga is easier than renouncing work. Can someone tell me, you have heard, what is Nishkama Karma Yoga? What is Nishkama Karma Yoga? We saw this in chapter 2 also in chapter 3.
Mataji, we should not expect fruits of the action.
Yes. Yeah. Fruit of our activities. But we should not give up the work, no? That is Nishkama Karma Yoga. So, Krishna, we understand in this, like how it is easier than the renouncing the work. And then in section 2, speaks about how to perform Nishkama Karma Yoga. Section 3, platform of knowledge, knowing the 3 doers. We are thinking that we are only the doer, but here we will understand for any activity to happen, there are 3 doers. It's not that just me. So we'll understand that. So we cannot say that I only did it. So there are 3 doers. And then section 4, liberation by focus on the Supreme Soul. Section 5, liberation through Ashtanga Yoga. And the 6th, the last one, peace on the platform of liberation. So the section 1. So Arjuna again asked whether renouncing work is superior to working in detachment. So in the 3rd chapter he asked. So now again he is asking. So why is Arjuna asking? Is he really doubtful? Or who is Arjuna actually? Who is Arjuna? We have understood something about Arjuna in the level 1. Who is he? Is he, yes, can somebody attempt? Who is Arjuna?
He is Nimitta Matra, Mataji. Nimitta Matra.
Okay, that is right. But then he is also an eternal associate of Krishna, no? We saw, we have seen that in the Satya Yuga, he comes as Nara Narayana. Actually, he does not, and also before starting this Bhagavad Gita, we understand that why Krishna is bringing Arjuna to bewilderment, so that this Bhagavad Gita knowledge can be given to the people of Kali Yuga, right? So that is the reason. So basically, every chapter we see how Arjuna is questioning, and this questioning is very important in spiritual life. Only then we'll be able to understand. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevayano. Pariprashnena, you have to humbly ask your spiritual master. Then only we will be able to understand. And this is always appreciated in spiritual life and in the Vedas. So we see even when Parikshit Maharaj, he was going to die in 7 days. So he goes to Suta Goswami, Shukadev Goswami, and then he inquires. And then when he asks, what is the duty of a person who is dying, then Shukadev Goswami appreciates him. What a question. He says in there that this is the question one has to ask. But what do we speak? We speak only all the Prajalpa. Prajalpa means which is of no value. We ask, did you had your food? Did you? Our food, our talks are so very materialistic, no? Or you did some shopping or these things. So, but then these things are very much appreciated. And when Sanatana Goswami first time meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what did he ask? So he was a scholar and he was so knowledgeable. He was a minister working in Muhammadin's government. But when he meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he asked, Kiyami, means who am I? Everybody calls me a scholar, but I don't know who am I. Please do tell me. So this is very important. So basically, so Arjuna's questioning is for our benefit. So renouncing work is superior to working with whether renouncing work is superior to working with detachment. What does Krishna say? Both are equal in sense that both are means to the same goal. Emphasizes working with detachment as easier and superior. So more than instead of attaching ourselves to materialistic activities, if we detach from material and then attaching to Krishna, then everything becomes spiritual. Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagya. So the Vaishnava Sannyasis does not give up the work. No? So that is what Krishna is saying here. Arjuna Uvacha Sanyasam Karmanam Krishna Punaryogancha Samshasi Yachre Yorekam Tanme Bruhi Sunishchitam. Arjuna said, "O Krishna, first of all, you ask me to renounce work, and then you again recommend work with devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is beneficial?" So now, why is he having this doubt? Let's understand. So in the chapter 2, Arjuna gives reason that I can't fight. And then Krishna gives, and he gives the reason as compassion. No? He is feeling compassionate by seeing his all kith and kinsmen. So how can I kill them? How can I kill my guru? How can I kill my grandfather, Bhishma? So then Krishna says, give the gnana of a soul. That soul does not, it does not take birth nor die. No? Tehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tatha dehantara praptihi dhiras tatra namuhyati. The dhiras will not lament for such thing. Krishna says that. He gives the knowledge. And then he says that when you perform being a Kshatriya, if you fight in the Buddhi Yoga, then whatever in the devotional activity, there is no sin. If you do for Krishna, because Arjuna is not doing for his own satisfaction or not for his sense gratification, but he's doing for Krishna, then there is no sinful reaction. So he says here, he gives knowledge and he tells here to fight. So, and then in the chapter 3, Krishna says, but for one who takes pleasure in self, whose human life is one of self-realization and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty. So here he again says, Krishna says that, but this is actually not for someone who was on the Varnashrama platform, because Arjuna is a Kshatriya, but then not for him, he cannot leave it. Krishna is talking about someone who is on the, who is above all that, no, who is in the, who is a pure devotee of the Lord. And then a realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such works, nor has he any need to depend on other living entity. So in chapter 4 also, similar, Krishna says, O chastiser of enemy, the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than mere sacrifice of material possession. After all, O son of Pritha, all sacrifices of work culminate in transcendental knowledge. So all the work culminate in knowledge. So what is Arjuna feeling now? That if everything is coming in knowledge, then for him, the knowledge and renunciation is not looking compatible. If I have to gain knowledge, then why should I fight? So that is what Arjuna is thinking. Therefore, the doubts which you have arisen in your heart of ignorance should be slashed by weapon of knowledge, armed with yoga. O Bharata, stand and fight. So these are the things which brought Arjuna to confusion. So all beings, we are all constantly planning, making plans for future. So how does it happen? Thoughts are manifested in action. Repeated action form habits. Habits make up our character. Character determines our destiny, right? And what are we? How to take steps in right direction is described in 5th chapter. So basically, we don't know which activity we need to involve, which will get me entangled and in this life, or which is liberated. That understanding we don't have. So here in this chapter, Krishna is going to give clarity on that. There are steps leading to further entanglement in worldly complexities. So there are steps leading to life of liberation, freedom, and tranquility of peace. So these things we will understand. No, usually engaging ourselves in fruitive activity is binding. No, that will. But then when we engage in spiritual, the devotional service, then it's a path of liberation. So the thoughts become action. Action become our habit. When action is done for continuous time, like every day, if you start doing, it becomes your habit. And then it forms our character, and then that decides our destiny. So just see how much thought is so important. We have learned about that GIGO method, good in, good out, and bad in, garbage in, garbage out. So whatever you feed your mind, so the thought, So how do we work on our thought? So you should be the hearing. Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. No? The more we hear, then what happens? The heart gets purified. And more we hear about Krishna. So that's how. So Arjuna is still confused. Why? It's a Krishna plan to keep Arjuna confused. No? Why is Arjuna? Because it's Arjuna's plan. Because how else to? Because even in Kali Yuga, I mean, many people may have doubts again on these things. So Krishna wanted to clarify on that. So why Krishna does so? For our benefit. To stress that work and renunciation are not opposed to each other. So not that if you have to take the renounced order of life, that is not necessary that you have to leave your work. So we'll see about the two type of sannyasis coming further. So there is one is a Mayavadi sannyasi who renounce everything, and there is a Vaishnava sannyasi who don't renounce the work. They work, but then they only renounce the materialistic activities. Rather, one must learn to work in renounced spirit. Arjuna thinks that jnana implies renunciation of work, and that knowledge and work, like light and darkness, are contrary. Krishna emphasizes, however, that one in knowledge should also work. So actually, Arjuna is a eternal associate. He is covered by the Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya is covering him so that Krishna can tell this knowledge to all of us. And even in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the Chaitanya Leela, Arjuna, anyone knows who is Arjuna? Is a Ramananda Raya. So he comes as a Ramananda Raya, who is associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay. So you say work for sense activity must be given up. So fighting for a kingdom, even with knowledge of soul, seems like activity and senses to me. So you say that we should not work for sense gratification. Then you say that when we are not body, then why should I, by fighting for even for the kingdom, Hastinapur, should I give up? That's what Arjuna feels. Therefore, it should be given up. If one works with devotion, then how work stop? You speak in riddles, action in inaction, inaction in action. I am confused. So Arjuna is saying that I am not able to understand your instructions. Please be clear. Tell me one thing. So which is better, work with devotion or work with renunciation? Because Arjuna didn't wanted to fight. No, when Arjuna asked him, Krishna asked him to fight, Arjuna didn't wanted to fight because he thought it would be sinful. That is why he's asking which is better. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Sanyasa karma yogascha nishreya sakaravubhau tayostu karma sanyasat karma yogo vishishyate. The personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and walk in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. So here in this picture, we see Lord Krishna being worshipped during the Rajasuya Yajna performed by Yudhishthira Maharaj. So there was a question like, who has to be glorified? And everybody unanimously said that it is Lord Krishna. But then he was... because why? Krishna is the Bhoktara, no? He's the one should be worshipped. So Krishna says in Yet karoshi yadashnasi yet juhoshi dadati yet karashyasi yet karashyasi kaunteya matkuru madarpanam tatkuru madarpanam. So whatever you do, give it, do it as a sacrifice to me. No, do it for Krishna. Then you will not be binded. So this yagna also, Yudhishthira Maharaj does not do for getting any opulence by doing that yajna, only for satisfying the Lord. So now two types of sannyasis we can see here. The Mayavadi sannyasis, and this is called renunciation, or who the Mayavadi sannyasis who leave everything, the material life. And the other one is work in devotion, or Vaishnava sannyasis. So here needs prior purification by prescribed duties. So before he becomes, he has to go through so many processes, no? He has to control his senses, mind, away from family, and there are so many purification method required by prescribed duties. He has to do that, everything. But in the devotional service, the process itself purifies us. When we are doing the Cheto Darpana Marjanam, no? When we are chanting the holy name, it is purifying us. The dirt which is accumulated in our heart from millions of years. And here simply jnana insufficient for liberation. So this is not sufficient, not a complete understanding. In a work in devotion, action is must act in status of soul. So Prabhupada says that Krishna conscious means very active. It's becoming not unconscious, it is super conscious. So not that once you are taken a renounced order, you are very sitting and taking leisure, just chanting or sitting. Because Prabhupada, in that age also, how much he used to travel for for giving this Krishna conscious to whole world. No? So it is full active. And here there is a risk of fall down. Because it is very difficult. We have seen so many great sages like Vishwamitra and all. So even after doing so much of austerity and all that, they were doing the meditation on Lord, by controlling their senses, then they fall down. No, the Menaka. So she comes and and then he falls down. He had to give up his Sanya, a renounced life, and he had a child also from her. So there is a risk of fall down. But here the success is guarantee, entrance into God's kingdom, because there is God's mercy. Krishna's mercy is there. When somebody who is in devotional service, when Krishna is really pleased, he shows the mercy. And here the renunciation is incomplete. Why? Because you are renunciating something which belongs actually to the Lord. What do we have got? What we have got while coming, no? Everything belongs to God. So here the complete renunciation, to use everything. Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhe. Yukta yo vairagya uchyate. Means using everything for Krishna's service. Even the material thing will become spiritual. So here find the root Vishnu. So here they're only trying to find out the Lord, but here watering the root. So you're trying to satisfy the Lord, not just trying to see the Lord, you're trying to satisfy the Lord. So yasmin tushte jagat tushte, no? When you're satisfying Krishna, everything else you'll become satisfied. Process is to detach from my matter. So they just want to be away from the materialistic life. But here, not just detaching from something, but attaching to Krishna. So here no happiness, because it's very tedious. You have to restrict so much and on the senses. And when there is no pleasure of serving Lord, you cannot get happiness, because the three realization in God. Can someone tell what are the three realization? Three realization in understanding the Lord.
Brahma, Paramatma, Bhagavan, Mataji.
Yes, very good. So in which one can we get the happiness? Which realization? Can we get in Brahma and Paramatma? Yes, very good. So only in Brahman, because Sachit Ananda, that blissful is coming only in the Ananda realization. But these people, they are concentrating only on the Paramatma realization, the yogis, no? The Ashtanga yogis. And so the senses are restricted, cannot release transcendental devotional service here. Senses engaged perform multiple devotional activities. We know, like from early morning, 3 o'clock, if the devotees get up in temple, they're completely engaged. Prabhupada has given, as per the Narada Pancharatra, so many activities are there to perform on devotional platform. So they don't have time at all for getting, getting any bad thoughts or anything, getting involved in other activities, because they're completely engaged in Lord services. So here it takes to take many birth. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyante vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlava. So many months they have to take here. But here in devotional service, quickly achieve Supreme Personality of Godhead. Study Sankhya philosophy. Study Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, Sankhya will become they become disgusted after some time, because they are not able to come to conclusion, because they have to put their own endeavor in understanding the philosophy in Sankhya. But then in Srimad Bhagavatam, devotees really relish reading the pastimes of the Lord, which is told by, explained or narrated by the pure devotees, and you get so much nectar in that. No? That is not missing in the Mayavadi Sannyasis here. So Sharirika Bhashya on Vedanta Sutra by Shankaracharya. So they follow this Sharirika Bhashya. But then we know Shankaracharya, when he comes, Lord Shiva tells to Mother Parvati that I am going to come in Kali Yuga as a Brahmana, where I'm going to teach this Mayavada philosophy. Mayavada means covered philosophy. He says, I'll be covered. Why he does so? Because based on people and situation, that time just Lord Buddha had exited, where Buddha introduced this, what to say, Buddha said that Nindasi Veda, I mean, reject the Vedas, because so many sacrifices, the animal sacrifices was more that time. So to stop that, Shankaracharya came, but he could not give highest knowledge because people are not in that, they're all in Tamoguna. So for them, how do you give the highest knowledge? They are not in a platform to understand. So Krishna says, whenever, I mean, he comes and give that knowledge based on the requirement for that time. So, but here, the devotees study Srimad Bhagavatam, right? And natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra. Who has given this Vedanta Sutra commentary? Who has given this?
Vyasa Maharshi Mataji.
Yes, very nice. Vyasdev, Srila Vyasdev has given this. And may here, the Mayavadi Sannyasis may fall down to philanthropic and altruistic activities. So what happens, though they go to Brahman platform, so there is no pleasure of service. So they have to come back again. After doing so much thing, after many births, they go to Brahmajyoti. And what is the point? Again, you have to come to material life, and they get engaged in philanthropic activities, like building hospitals and these things. But here, have multiple in work in devotion, have multiple engagement in devotional service according to Pancharatrika regulations. Neyasya nitya sannyasi yona dveshtina kankshati nirdvandvo hi mahabaho sukham bandhat pramuchyate. One who neither hates nor desires the fruit of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, free from all dualities, easily overcome material bondage and is completely liberated, O mighty Arjuna. So we should not have a duality. So basically, a devotee of the Lord, he's not in a confusion because he does everything for the Lord. So he's not attached even to the his fruits of his activities. And one who is fully in Krishna conscious is always a renouncer because he feels neither hatred nor desire for result of action. Such a renouncer dedicated to the transcendental loving service of Lord is fully qualified in knowledge because he knows his constitutional position in relationship with Krishna. He knows fully well that Krishna is the whole and that he is part and parcel of the Krishna. So this is from Papat of 5.3. So he understands that I am the part and parcel of the Lord. So when a person understands his constitutional position, what is our constitutional position? Can someone tell me? What is the constitutional position of a soul? What does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say on that? You must have heard this in level 1 many times. Constitutional position of a soul. Yes, Rameshwar Prabhu.
Yes, servant of the Lord, servant to service.
Yes, very nice.
Krishna Nitya Dasa Mataji.
Very good, very nice. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, very good. So we are that understanding comes how dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamapayanti. Krishna says that I will give that intelligence. Not necessarily that person should be a scholar or he should be learned in a very in Vedas, but then that knowledge will be given by Krishna. No? Okay, here Krishna says easily overcome the material bondage and is completely liberated. So what is liberation in simple terms? Can someone tell what is liberation? What is liberation?
Free from material attachment, Mataji.
Yes, very nice. So that is liberation, even being in this material world. No, but actually there are 5 kinds of liberation. There are Sayujya Mukti.
Yeah, Mukti.
Yeah, Sayujya Mukti, Samipya Mukti. Samipya Mukti means being near to Lord. Salokya Mukti, I mean being in the same planet where Lord Lord is there. And then Sashti. Sashti means the same opulence of the Lord. You look the same like Lord, same features, and you get all the opulence that Lord has. And Sayujya is something which the Mayavadi Sannyasis, they want to merge into the Lord, no, Brahmajyoti. So these are all the liberation, but actually, as Prabhu said, real liberation means getting, not having any sense gratification, not having attachment towards materialistic things. So that itself is that is itself is liberation. So we have examples of all our acharyas like Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami. No, everybody have shown how they live their life. Being so, all the acharyas, they were born in such an aristocratic family, but still they lived very simple life. No, they showed us as an example. Sankhya yoga prutak balaha pravadanti na panditaha ekam apyastita samyak ubayor vindati palam. Only the ignorant speak of devotional service, karma yoga, as being different from analytical study of material world, Sankhya. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the same result. So, what is devotional service? So basically, Prabhupada says devotion. Actually, if you see in the dictionary, devotion means, the bhakti says devotion, but Prabhupada gave the service, because only when we do service, then it is, how do we do the service? There are 9 kinds of devotional service. Anyone knows what are the 9 kinds of devotional service?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasavanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Saksyam, Dasyam, and Atma Nivedanam.
And Vishnu Smaranam. Yeah, very nice.
Yes.
So these are the 9 devotional services. So anything if you do, you can attain perfection. So just with even the Shravanam and Kirtan, if you do also, like hearing about the Lord, then also we can one can attain the perfection. So here it is said that not necessary, it is, and yeah, so not they don't, there is not like, there's no difference between analytical and devotional service. Both can lead to the same path. And then Krishna further says, one who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on same level, sees things as they are. So once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was always chanting and he was mad because he was always in ecstasy. So by seeing that, there was one Mayavadi Sannyasi, very famous that time, Prakashananda Saraswati. He saw him and he said, he used to criticize, right, for chanting and dancing. And then he said, so why don't you are so young and you are a sannyasi, you have to read Vedanta, no? But then he was thinking he is some sentimentalist. He thought Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be some sentimentalist. And then he is not a bona fide sannyasi. He had that kind of impression. And then he said, okay, because then he asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that why are you not reading Vedanta? Why are you simply chanting? His name was Nimai Pandit. When he was just age of 7, he defeated one Keshav Kashmiri at the age of 7. He was very, very big Pandit. So, but then now he's saying that my Guru Maharaj has told me that you are very dull. You are a fool number 1. You don't chant. You don't have the intelligence. You know who is telling this? Lord Krishna himself, who is like Chaitanya, comes as a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says, you don't have intelligence. You have to take this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because he came. Why did he come? Out of compassion, Krishna comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach how to carry devotional service. And he himself, as a devotee, he showed us. He gave the Mahamantra. Why? Because Prayena Alpayu Kale Asmin Yuge Jana Manda Sumanda Matayo. This Kali Yuga people are very unintelligent, not possible. It's not easy to read this Vedanta. You need to have a great knowledge on Sanskrit and you have to understand philosophy. Not easy. So that is why it is recommended better to do the devotional service, but you get the same result. No? But in Prabhupada says, Kali Yuga people are more interested in only earning and then sense gratification. But devotional service can purify us. So in many ways, there are both the same, Jnana and Karma Yoga. Jnana means Sankhya and Karma Yoga is Bhakti. When we include Krishna, if you are only working for your satisfying your sense gratification, then it is just Karma Bhoga. When when you add Krishna, then it becomes Karma Yoga. No? So like we give some part of our salary to Krishna, then it becomes yoga. So neither hate nor, so this is a Sankhya Yoga. There the person neither hate nor desire fruits. Same thing in here also, neither hate nor desire fruits. Free from dualities. So there's no concept of happiness and pain, because they're on a platform of the soul. No, there is no, because they don't see the body as, they see that the three modes are working. So there's no duality there. So both are on liberated platform. So here the Jnani, the sage, comes to understand that his soul, not his body, becomes detached from matter. When he understands that, he becomes detached. Here the devotee comes to understand that he is soul, not body, but then he becomes attached to working for Krishna, because that is easier. No, best is Bhakti Yoga. We saw also in the yoga ladder. So out of all the, what are the different ladders we saw to achieve Bhakti? Karma Yoga, and then Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. No, but then Nishkama Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga is the highest, and it is easy to go back to Godhead. Can someone read this from Prabhupada's book?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Sankhya Yoga devotional service. In the first process, Sankhya, one has to become detached from matter, and in the devotional yoga process, one has to attach himself to the work of Krishna consciousness. Factually, both processes are the same, although superficially, one process appears to involve detachment and the other process appears to involve attachment. Detachment from matter and attachment to Krishna are one and the same. One who can see these things as they are.
Yeah, one who can see this, sees things as they are. Only when we come to that proper understanding that it's not necessary that you have to renounce and go to forest. Being in this same, whatever ashrama we are, we can be in that, we can be renounced. How? In the way only not having attachment towards materialistic thing, but attachment to Krishna. How do we attach to Krishna? No, Krishna is all attractive. That's why Krishna is Akashati iti Krishna. No, by hearing about Krishna, more and more you hear, you get developed interest, you get the taste. Now, how, like in the chapter 2, we say that dhyayetu vishayan pumsaha sangaste upajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bijayate krodhat bhavati sammoha sammoha smriti vibramaha smriti vibramshat buddhinasha buddhinashat pranashati. Means how by contemplating on the sense object, we get attached to sense object. So similarly, when we contemplate and we listen and hear more about the Lord, we start getting attachment. That is the reason the Mangalarti we attend. We asked everyone to attend. Why? Because we see the deities every day. When you see deities every day, you get some kind of attachment. And then if you don't see one day, you miss Mangalarti, then you start feeling something is missing. Why? Because that attachment is developing. That is why we need to attend all those things. Whatever this is given process of all principles, regulative principles, what Prabhupada has given, everything has some purpose. And then Bhagavatam says, Shunvatam Swakatam Krishna Punya Kirtanam. So when you, all the dirt which is accumulated, that will be, that will go, and we will get attached to Krishna when more and more we hear about the Lord. So, and it is said, no, Param Drishta, Krishna says, Param Drishtva Nivastate. How to come out of it? You get attached to a higher thing, which is to the Lord. Sanyasastu mahabaho dukkam aptum mayogataha yoga yukto munir brahma nachirena digacchati. Merely renouncing all activities yet not engaging in devotional service of Lord cannot make one happy, but a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service and achieve the supreme without delay. So when Prabhupada gave this devotional service, so when he introduced, so he gave this, I mean, kirtan, doing kirtan, I mean, Krishna consciousness, chanting, doing dancing, and eating prasad. No, it is very simple. Prabhupada says. Because of that only he was able to make devotees. When Prabhupada went to West, US first, so how did he start? Only just chanting, no? He didn't start with giving philosophy, who is Krishna. Maybe, I mean, it would have not worked. But then in the chanting itself is so powerful. So many big people, they became devotees who didn't have any knowledge about Krishna. No, it is so. Why is it this kirtan is so important? Because can someone tell why are devotees doing this chanting in the roads, on the roads? They can do even in the temple. Why the Sankirtan is being done on street? Why do they do that?
For Kali Yuga, that is the mantra, ma'am, Mataji.
Yeah, they can do at home, no? They can do sit at home and do. Why do they have to do in street?
To purify the environment.
Yeah, very nice. So environment means it includes all the living entities, no, and all the insects and animals. Because otherwise, how will they get? Because Vaishnava Sannyasis are so merciful. They're not selfish. Prabhupada also says, if actually Prabhupada could have sat in Vrindavan. I mean, he had a very nice life. He could have sat there and then only concentrated on his. I mean, he could have gone back easily to Godhead, no, back to Godhead. Sitting and chanting all the day. But at that age of 70, he took risk because he wanted to deliver everyone, all the people around the world. That is why he goes to West. I mean, he had, even after struggling so much, I mean, didn't have anything in hand and had 2 heart attacks on the ship. But still he wanted to go. Why? Because they are so merciful. So this is also reason why it is done in the because even everybody can get the benefit of it. Because the atheistic people, they never come to temple. How will they get delivered? No, they will not get a chance at all. So that is why they go in streets and they do the devotees. And we know that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went to Jharkhand forest, you all may be knowing, like how when he was chanting, all the animals also danced. So this is recorded in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So even because he's Krishna himself, so Prabhupada says, at least we don't have that capacity to make animal dance, at least make people dance. No, at least do the kirtan and do the make people dance. So section 2, how to perform Nishkama Karma Yoga. Working with detachment, performance of Nishkama Karma. So one performing Nishkama Karma Yoga identifies neither with his body nor the activities that his body performs. By his detached action, he is freed from reaction of his activities. So we understand in chapter 4 and 3 that for every action there's a equal and opposite reaction. No, everything we have to come and take it. By even for a pious activity, you have to take the reaction. For that, we have to come back and take birth. But then even for the impious, of course, we will have to bear more severe punishment. I mean, we'll have to take birth in lowly species, lower animal species. So how can we be free from reaction of activity? So that is by performing Nishkama Karma Yoga. Person is not identifying with his body nor the activities because he does for Krishna, detached. How the Padma Patram Vivambasa, we'll see that, but I think it is coming next. So can someone tell? So we know that all the sins, it is like a germinating seed at the different stage, no, cycle of sinful cycle. So first there is a sowing of seed, like a sinful desire come to mind, and then you water it, you think more about it, and then it sprouts. No, for anything to happen, sinful action, there is first a seed, the bija, and then then it germinates. So it takes, for any, if we plant a seed, it will take some days to grow. No, the germination will take just a few weeks, and for some plants it is few weeks, and some plants it will take years. That's how we get the karma what we have done after many years, or sometimes in next life. So how do we stop the germination? So how can we stop this germination? So the normal seed, if it does not have to grow into plant, so they will either dry it or boil it or fry it. So okay, so then that cannot, the plant cannot grow. So similarly, what will happen? the devotional activity that we do, and the 9 bhakti, the devotional services that we do, Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Vishnu Sahasranam, these things. So that is like a frying, okay? Frying all our sinful reactions. So slowly what happens? So we will, that will not act on us, the sinful reaction, because we are doing the devotional service. So what is the proof that all of us have done the sin in this? We have sinned, we are sinners. What is the proof? Do you all believe that we all are sinners? First of all, we are all sinners. Some we may
Yes,
not remember
Mother.
also. Yes. So what
Yes,
is the
Mother, yes.
proof? What is the proof? What is the proof that we are all sinners? One proof, which no one can deny that I didn't do anything.
This is Dukkalayam, so it is infallible Dukkalayam. So we take the birth here. So it
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, yes, Mataji. Yes, Prabhu.
We are taking rebirth.
Very true. Very nice. So we have come to this material world itself is a proof, no? Otherwise, why do we have to come? We will never come. We would have gone to material, so to Krishna's abode. No, if somebody, if we are anyone in material world, means we have done something sinful. We don't remember maybe, but we have done, and then we blame God. No, but Krishna is not responsible for our sinful work. Why? Because he is not involving. He has given us what? What does Krishna has given us? Why is Krishna? We cannot blame Krishna for our karma. Why can't we blame Krishna for our karma? What is that one thing we have? We have a choice, no? The will. The free will is there. That is given by Krishna. So if we misuse of our independence, makes us entangled in this material world. So Nishkama Karma Yoga means perfect knowledge. I am not material body, I am soul, part and parcel of soul. I want to render service to him. Who is that? Lord. I will work in a detached spirit. So part and parcel of the Lord. Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke. No, Krishna says you are my part and parcel. So basically, when my hand is a part of my body, my hand, it's my duty of my hand to serve my body. It should serve the purpose. Otherwise, what is the use of this hand? So similarly, when I am part of the Lord, my constitutional position is to serve the Lord. Okay. So whichever position we are, whichever situation we are, we have to take up the devotional service. So who is a Nishkama Karma Yogi? So if somebody questions a Nishkama Karma Yogi, who are you? What will be his answer? I am a servant of God. See, we have a choice. We are anyway servant. Either you have to be servant of Maya, which is Krishna's external energy, or you want to be servant of Yoga Maya, which is Krishna's internal potency. So we have to make a choice. So we have to a servant of God. So you must have seen the devotees, they wear the Kantimala, no? So it shows that you are you're like a dog, but for Prabhupada, no? It's like a recognized. The street dogs will not have any belt, but then the one which the domestic ones which people take care, they put. So similarly, it is a proud thing. There's nothing to be shy that I'm a servant of God. So that is a proud thing to say when, it is not just saying, but then we have to involve in service. So what work do you do? He says work allotted by God. How do you do the work? I work hard with sincerity, dedication to best of my ability. So it is not that, something I have to do, not like that. Utsahat nishchayat dairyat tattat karma pravartanat sangatyagat satovritti shadbir bhakti prasidati. Prabhupada says that one has to do with lot of enthusiasm. You have to have patience, sincerity, dedication, all these things when you want to perform Krishna's work. Not just that only in material thing. If I want to enjoy or satisfy my senses, I'll be very interested. For devotional work, like that, I have to do chanting, like that. No, you have to do with all sincerity and dedication. So what do you do with the result? I hand it over to God. Why? Because I'm not the cause. Krishna says, Karmanyevadikarasye ma paleshu pakadachana ma karma pala heturbuhu mate sangosya karmani. So Mate, you're not the cause. So you have to, because we know the example of the farmer who has grown the mangoes. So he sow the seed, he water the plant, and when the fruit comes, Krishna comes and take. And then he's wondering why. But then Krishna says that who has given you the light? Who has given you the sunlight? Who has given you the rain? And from who has given the seed? No, Krishna is the Sarva Yonishu Kaunteya Aham Bija Pradapita. So the seed is also coming from Krishna. So how can we tell that the results have to come to me? So much part is there, Krishna is there, no? So that is why we have to hand it over. So Krishna consciousness and body consciousness, 5.5. Steadily devoted soul offers the result to me. Others are greedy for fruit of labor, result in entanglement. So what will happen? We'll have to keep taking Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. Birth and death, we have to keep coming. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone. Everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. So continuous, we see the Vaishnava Sannyasis, they're always working. So even Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he was a district magistrate. But how was his timing? Just, the whole day. He used to also chant his rounds of 16 rounds and more. And then he used to do the court activities. He has written so many thousands of books. How was that possible? Because they are always engaged in serving. No? So such people, though they're engaging, he's working also, but he will not be entangled because his aim is to serve the Lord. A person in the divine consciousness, although engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping and breathing, always knows within himself that he actually does nothing at all. Because while speaking, evacuating, receiving or opening or closing his eyes, he always knows that only the material senses are engaged with their object and he is aloof from them. So Vaishnava Sannyasis also, if somebody sees Prabhupada, he used to so thin, simple, nobody can make out that he has so much of knowledge, until somebody speak to him. He looks very simple. So N.N.D. Prabhuji always mentions in Bhagavatam class that Vaishnava Kriya Mudra is very difficult to understand. Their intentions and their the way they live, by seeing that we cannot understand. No, the way only one who personally knows them from very near, only they can understand. Otherwise, people may think, oh, he's also a normal person. What's special? So it's not easy to understand the pure devotees of the Lord. One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the result onto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful action. As the lotus leaf is untouched by water. So whatever activities you are in, okay, and if you're following the dharma and you're doing everything for the happiness of Lord, so then there is no binding. So it is a analogy given is the lotus leaf. No, the lotus leaf is not touched. We see so water on the leaf, but it does not get stick to it. No, it does not stay on it. So devotee understand that everything belongs to Krishna. Nothing is belong to him. No, because Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavaha matta sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am the causes of all causes. And this understanding is very much clear to the devotee. That is why he, buddha bhava samanvita means he will, with all his, with devotion, he starts to worship the Lord. Brahmanadaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha lipyatvena papena nasa papena padma patram vivambasa. Lotus leaf untouched by water. So we know how Prabhupada was untouched by the material opulence of the West. No? Yukta karma palam tyaktva sangam shanti mapnoti naishtikim ayukta karma karena pale sak. So nibatyate, the yogis abandoning attachment act with body, mind, intelligence, and even with the senses, only for purpose of purification. So that steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the result of all activities to me, whereas a person who is not in union with the divine, who is greedy for fruit of labor, becomes entangled. So why did we come to this material world? What is the reason? What is the reason we have come to this material world? What made us to come here? First place, we all belong to the spiritual world. What made us to come here? And even in chapter 15, very nice. Yeah, chapter 15, we see, right? The one thing that separates us from Krishna is the desire from the spiritual world. Yes, the desire is what? Because of the desires, I mean, some desire we have. That is why we have to be very careful. So while leaving the body, if we have desire, Krishna says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavan, tyajantyatye kalevaram, tam tameva inti kaunteya. Right? Means whatever you have, consciousness at the time of leaving that body, you are going to get next life. So we have to be very careful. So we should have desire, but then Prabhupada says, you can't be desireless. It's impossible. That is Mayavadi philosophy, not to be desireless. But then we have to be desired, but then it has to be desiring for Krishna. Anyabhilashita shunyam. So not desiring for materialistic thing, but desire can be for attaining Krishna. So Nrigas fall down due to fruitive activities. So you all know this story. Nriga, can someone explain? What did he do? And how he got entangled? Yes. Anyone remembers this story? You have seen this in level 1. King Nriga. What made King Nriga get attached? I mean, he fall down. He had to take a birth as a lizard, no? Okay, basically, King Nriga was performing a lot of fruitive activities, karma kanda, no? Because he was doing the pious activity in an intention to get the pious merits. So there was no, I mean, he was not offering the result to Krishna. That is why he got entangled. No, you all know this story where he donated in charity lakhs of cows. That too, they were having jewels and all that. But then the Brahmanas, he sold the same one of the cow to the same other Brahmana, and the Brahmanas caused him to become a lizard. And in the next life, he became a lizard, and Krishna had to come and deliver him. So this is what the fruitive activity does. So one mistake, dissatisfying to Brahmanas, and then he had to be lead a life of a lizard for a long time. Okay. So now section 3, platform of knowledge, knowing the 3 doers. So now we understand who are the 3 doers: the soul, material nature, and the super soul. Enlightenment through knowing the 3 doer in perspective. So it is not just any action. I am not the only one person responsible. So the jiva, what does it do? What is the function of the soul? I mean, what does it do? What is that one thing that the soul has? Only one thing the soul can do. What is it?
The Chetana something.
No, soul is Chetana, yes. But why are we coming here? Again, the same question. Why are we coming here to this material world? Because of?
To meet super soul. To meet super soul.
No, coming to this material world. Why do we come to this material world? Because of
one is desire, secondly to burn our past karmas, sinful.
Yes. Yeah. So that choice we are not having. That is given by Lord, no? But we are only desiring. Because of our desire only we are coming. So the soul only desires. And then what happens? Krishna is there as Paramatma in our heart. The first doer is the soul. And the second doer, the Paramatma is there in our heart. He's seeing. What is the 2 functions that the Paramatma does? Comes in chapter 13. What does he do?
Fulfills our desires, and he'll be the witness.
Yes,
of the
very nice. Yeah. Upadrashtanu mantacha, Anumanta. When Upadrashta means overseeing and Anumanta is granting. So these are the 2 things which Krishna does. So what he does, if he thinks you are eligible, then he gives that through material world. He instructs the material nature and gives us. No? So that is why it is said, nothing can move as if there is no will of Krishna. No? So there are the 3. So the first jiva, doer 1, jiva. Sarva karmani manasa sannyasis te sukam vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. When the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all action, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates, neither working nor causing work to be done. So what are the 9 gates? What are the 9 gates?
2 eyes,
2 eyes, 2
two
nostrils, 2
nostrils,
ears,
Hmm.
1 mouth, anus, genital.
Yes, correct. Very nice. So these are the nine. This one. So the person who is in understanding. So when he's not attached to his activity, but he does his activity in a renounced spirit. He works happily in the body of 9 gates. So knowledge of the 3 doers. Doer 1, the self or jiva, situated in the city of 9 gates, 9 holes of the body. Actually, it is said if we do pious activity, the soul leave from the upper body, the head, right? Otherwise, it will go from the lower one. It is said that if the soul is done too much of sinful activity, then it dies. It goes from the lower holes of the body. Then what happens? It will take birth in the lower species. So, not working or causing work to be done does not create activities, does not induce others to act, does not create the fruit of action. Happiness or distress come from identifying with the body. True, no? Only when we attach ourselves to our body, because thinking that I am this body, I am this mind, then somebody says something or something happens, we feel immediately become depressed. So why? Because I'm identifying myself as body. When one renounces the result, he can live happily. So the doer to material nature, the embodied spirit, master of the city of body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruit of action. All is enacted by modes of material nature. So the only thing he does is the desiring, and everything is taken care of after that. No, all the 3 modes of nature start to act because Krishna will instruct. So this person is having some desire, so please give him such situation in life. No, so the person who the embodied spirit, so this person who is in understanding, he understands that nothing is done by soul, but the 3 modes of material nature is doing that. Nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of ignorance which covers their real knowledge. For Krishna, why will Krishna does not interfere? No, in our sinful activities, because Krishna has given that little bit. Our independence is just like a cow which is tied to a pole. The rope that is the distance of a rope, it is only to some distance the cow can go. No, so similarly, we also have a little independence, but then we can act in a right way, because if we are really doing chanting sincerely, then we can hear what Paramatma will guide us from internally, how one should act. So because Krishna is there as Paramatma to guide us. No, so once Krishna says from in the Brahma Samhita also, whoever takes shelter of Krishna, from the Indragopa, smallest insect, to the Indra, all sinful reactions he will remove. Krishna will remove that. But then if we are engaged in fruitive activities, Krishna will not interfere. So understanding the 3 doers and know how they work is called as enlightenment. So once we know how how the functioning of my body and soul, that I understand what is my position, no, and the relationship with God, and then I understand about the Lord, Paramatma, that I am the part and parcel of the Lord, and then also how the material nature function. Though it is lower to the living entity, which is superior, but then it becomes very strong, no? Because material nature is, Maya is very strong. And unless we take shelter of Krishna, it is not easy for us. So understanding these 3 doers itself is in enlightenment. The mode of material nature, they are doing everything, but they are under the direction of Lord. So all this, Krishna says, Shushti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Reka Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Bibharti Durka Ichchanu Rupam Api Yasya Chacheshtata Esa Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. So he says the Devi is working as per the instruction of Krishna. Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mamamaya Duratyaya Mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. So Devi Esha Gunamai, the divine energy of Krishna is very difficult to overcome. But then whoever have taken shelter of the Lord, easy to overcome. Super soul is sanctioning but aloof. The Lord does not take responsibility for anyone's pious or impious activities. The soul desires, the Lord does not interfere. So we have to purify our desires. No, why do we have to develop a sinful desire? Krishna does not interfere there. The Lord sanctions this desire as the living entity deserves. Okay, whatever we desire only we get and deserve. Not whatever I desire, I'll not get. Only what I deserve, I'll get. No, otherwise everybody wants to be always happy. Everybody wants to be a peaceful life. So not everybody gets it. Because based on my karma only I'll get. So only based on my desire. Then the modes carry things out. This is the knowledge in the mode of goodness. So it's just like a Prabhupada gives an example like a judge, a high court judge. So a high court judge, he can give a punishment or he can give different punishment he gives to different people. No, somebody is hanged, somebody is put behind bars for some years, and different kinds he gives. But then he is not getting any reaction. Why? Because he's only giving based on what karma that person has done, what the punishment, what the criminal thing or act that person has performed. Based on that is so Krishna is also giving us all the whatever we are suffering based on our work. So here we see who is the doer. So now question to you, who is the doer? So here a jiva desires, and then super soul verifies and sanctions based on, does this jiva deserve to get fulfilled this desire? Fulfilled. And then he instructs the material nature. Based on that, he will say, okay, approve him or not approve him. After receiving super soul's order, material nature through 3 modes, sattva, rajas, tama, fulfill jiva's desire. So who is the doer? Who is the doer?
It's we, Jiva.
All the 3. So all the 3. Okay. Because without that, it cannot happen. The action. So you may desire, but then the action will not happen until Krishna sanction it. So all the 3 are the doers. So comparing soul and super soul. Just give me a second. Yeah. So the soul is eternal. Super soul is also eternal. Blissful, but suffers when covered by Maya. Blissful above the 3 modes, because we are covered by 3 modes always, because that is why we are called as conditioned soul, conditioned by 3 modes. But Krishna is above the 3 modes. He's transcendent to 3 modes. Cognizant of this body. We are aware of this body. Krishna is cognizant of all bodies. Just like how a farmer knows only his body, his farm, what he has grown, but the king knows what is happening in all the farms. So similarly, super soul is knower of all bodies. So we are Anu, very small, atomic. Krishna is Vibhu, omniscient, and has a minute independence to desire, but is dependent upon super soul to fulfill desires. So we have very less independence. We don't have much. That is to desire. But for fulfilling desire, we are dependent on the Lord. So that is why the 3 doers are responsible there. So, but Krishna is Swarat, complete independent. He is not dependent on anyone. Krishna comes also out of his internal potency, out of his free will. He comes to this material world out of his free will. He is fully independent. Section 4, liberation by focus on super soul. Tad buddhyas tad atmanas tad nishthas tad parayanaha gacchantya punar avrittim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. When one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refugee are all fixed in Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. So, how can we fix our mind in Krishna? So how can we fix our mind, intelligence, and faith? For that, initially you need to have faith. Faith is very important. No? Faith, if we don't have the faith, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, samshayatma pranashyati. He'll fall down. So unless we have faith in the Lord, faith in our scriptures, we cannot advance in bhakti. No? So we should have faith. So when this knowledge is used to focus on super soul, then one can act in transcendental way. Enlightenment can lead to transcendent if it is focused on the supreme soul. Pitya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Pakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and a gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater, outcast. So how is he able to see everyone on equal platform? How is he able to see? How is this Brahmana able to see everyone on equal platform?
Samadarshana.
Yeah, how?
He
How is
sees
it?
because everybody is having soul.
Yeah, and
Paramatma.
only soul?
Paramatma.
Paramatma, no? Yeah, Paramatma is there in everyone's heart. So, yeah, he understands that whatever this entity, living entity has taken the birth, it is because on its past deed. So he sees that on a soul platform, and he also sees that Paramatma is there. Krishna says, Sarvasya Chaham Hrudi Sannyavisto, not just only on a human being I'm there in heart. Krishna says, Sarvasya Chaham Hrudi Sannyavisto. No? For in every living entity, I am in the heart. So when in that platform, he says, he sees everyone on an equal platform. He does not bifurcate. So situated in Brahman, when one fixes his consciousness on super soul, his intelligence, mind, faith, and refugee are focused. So how do we focus on Krishna? So more and more we have to engage in the devotional service. Then only you can fix your mind in Krishna. No? Save mana padara vindayo. How Amrish Maharaj, how he used all his senses, no, his mind in service of the Lord. He took shelter of the Lord. So that is why how Krishna comes to his rescue, no, for the pure devotees who are so dependent on Krishna. Krishna will be always there. He is free from doubt because he has knowledge of three doers. He sees that super soul is sanctioning but impartial. Krishna says that Name dveshosti na priyaha. No, everyone are equal to me. But then ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mayi te teshu champyaham, means but then who with all devotion who worship me, I am always there as a friend to me. He is a friend to me and I am there for him. Krishna says that. Sees with equal vision because he has knowledge. He is not this body and knowledge of the super soul. So he knows that he is the soul and Krishna is the Paramatma super soul. So what are the symptoms of a self-realized person? So this we saw. Those whose minds are established in sameness and equanimity have already conquered the conditioned death, birth and death. They're flawless like Brahman, and thus they're already situated in Brahman. So the pure devotee, whatever he has learned, he applies in his life. No, Brahma Bhuta Parasannatma, na shochati na kamshati. No, a person who neither rejoice. So that is the shloka. Upon achieving something pleasant or nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant. Who is self-intelligent, unbewildered, and who knows the signs of God, he is to be understood as already situated in transcendent. So he does not while achieving something, he does not be very pleasant nor laments. So he's in a Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma stage. Such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure, but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness for the concentrates on the Supreme. So we know the story of Haridas Thakur, right? So even when a beautiful woman came to him, so his mind was not agitated. He was at calm because he used to chant 3 lakh name of the Lord. Actually, Haridas Thakur who is Haridas Thakur? Actually, is he a normal person or is
Incarnation of Brahma.
Yeah, Brahma. So in Brahma Vimoha Leela, no? Because he takes all the cowherd boys and the cows. So then when he comes to know that Krishna, it is Krishna only, and then he asks Krishna that I have done a sinful thing. So please give me a punishment. I should be born in a very low family, and I should be, I mean, when you come as a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please, I should also come. And before you leave, I should leave the body. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually carried him with his hands when he died. So so it is said that devotees' senses are like the snake. That if a poisonous snake, you take out the teeth, then it can't do anything. No. So similarly, they're like the devotees are like a snake charmer. They know how to keep the senses under control. So they're always used in the service of Lord. Yehi samsparshaja bhogaha dukkha yonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddhaha. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery which are due to contact with the material sense. O son of Kunti, such pleasure have a beginning and an end. And so the wise man does not delight in them. So what does our Shastra says? When the senses come in contact with the sense object, the misery starts. So when we engage the senses with any of the sense object, the misery comes. So the different miseries in different animals. So can someone tell me, this is an example for which one? Which sense is strong in the moth? These moths are attracted to light. So which sense is very strong here for them?
Vision, eye.
Yes, good. The eyes are strong. And then here for the deer, which is strong for the deer? How is it caught? Because it gets attached to what? The music. The hearing.
Yeah, music.
The hunter plays in music and it gets attracted, and by that he kills it. No, it is get caught.
Ear, yeah.
Yeah, ears. So this is bumblebee. It is attracted to
Smell.
Yeah, smell. So what will happen? It goes, and by evening, the flower, when it closes, it is not coming out because it is so much attached, then it dies there inside. And here the fish is attached to
Tongue.
the taste.
Taste.
And the elephant, it is
Skin.
form. Yeah, skin. Sorry. So these are the 5 things. But then for human being, it is said all the senses are very strong. So we have to be more careful, because anything can make us fall down. How long? So this question can come to us. How long do I have to tolerate the pushing of senses? How long I have to do controlling? Until when one must tolerate the urges of senses? Until the death of the body. So there's no other way. Until our death, we have to control. No, it is said that even there is in one shloka. I don't get the shloka. What it says is, even a person is holding a stick in hand, hair has become white. Okay, still the desires have not gone. So that means the urge for the sense enjoyment is still there. So that is always there. So until the death, we have to control this senses. And Krishna says in chapter 2 that what is that? He says even in indriyani pramatini haranti prasavam manaha, means the senses are so strong that even a man of discrimination get bewildered. He also can fall down. So they're so strong. Where one gets the strength to tolerate the sensual urges, then how do we do this? If all my life until death, if I have to do control, then how can I strengthen this? By focusing this happiness, activities and goals inward. Always we are seeing the happiness outward in the material world, but then when you focus on inward, on Paramatma, then we can get purified. He engages in purifying his external activities by working for the benefit of others. Then one is assured of liberation. So only in that way, there's a way to, the 5 senses entangle us. But then by engaging in service of Krishna, we can become liberated. So liberation through Ashtanga Yoga, practice of Ashtanga Yoga gives the same liberation. Sparshan krutva bahirbahyams chakshushchaivantare dhruvuho pranapanau samau krutva nasabhyantarachari nau yatendriya mano buddhihi munir moksha parayanaha vigatecha bhaya krodho yasada muktase evasaha. Shutting out all external sense objects, keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between the two eyebrows, suspending the inward and outward breath within the nostrils and thus controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence. The transcendentalist aiming at liberation becomes free from desire, fear and anger. One who is always in this state is certainly liberated. So this is very hard, not easy, and not recommended for Kali Yuga. This is for which Yuga? This is recommended. This meditation on like this.
Satya Yoga?
Yes. For Sat Yoga. No, only for what is for this Yoga, for Kali Yuga, is the
Chanting.
Chanting of the holy name. So the last section we came. So peace on the platform of liberation. A person in the full consciousness of Krishna attains liberation from pangs of misery. Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suradam sarvabhutanam jnatva mam shantim rachati. The sages, knowing me as the ultimate purpose of all sacrifice and austerities, the supreme lord of all planet and demigod, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attain peace from the material pangs of miseries. Why are we in misery? Because we think that I am the enjoyer. No, we wanted. Why did we come here, leaving Krishna? Because it is said when we wanted to come to a material world, Krishna asked us three times not to go, but then we wanted to enjoy. So then Krishna created variety for us in 84 lakh species. Different desires, go and take different birth, enjoy, and then come back. But then if we understand that we are not enjoyer, Krishna is the enjoyer, Bhoktaram Ekna Tapasam, and he is in full control. Krishna is in full control. So then why there is anxiety? No, there is no room for anxiety when we understand that whatever happens or is happening in my life. So there is Krishna. There is a God's plan behind everything. So it is said the fear and surrender cannot reside in the same heart. No, if you have confidence, if you have a firm belief on the Lord that Krishna's hand is there in anything in my life, then why should we fear? Whatever is happening, Krishna knows he is doing. He is a benefactor. He says, Suridam Sarvabhutanam. Even if he is making us to cross through some difficult times, it is for my benefit, for evolving me to be a better person. If we take in that understanding, then there's no anxiety at all. So that then that person attains peace from the material miseries. So this other section we covered. Nishkama Karma Yoga is easier than renounced work. How to perform Nishkama Karma Yoga. Platform of knowledge knowing the three doers. For the three doers?
Rajas, Tamas, and
no, the doers. The doers.
Jiva Atma Paramatma.
Yeah, Jiva Atma Paramatma. Liberation by focus on the super soul. Liberation through Ashtanga Yoga. So next chapter 6 will be more on Ashtanga Yoga. No? Peace on the platform of liberation. Okay. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhya cha krupa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namo ananta koti vaishnavandiki chainam charita. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone. Very less people
Hare
today.
Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. I don't know, like next week also, we have this Jagannath Yatra. So 8th, I'm going by train on 8th. So can we have on the same like Friday? Otherwise we will lose.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, we can have. Right.
Yes,
We can.
Yes, Mataji.
Otherwise you will have, there'll be a 2-week gap. So we can keep on Friday next week also.
Yes, Mataji.
I'll post also in the group. If all agrees, then we can do it, because otherwise, yeah, it will become difficult. Okay, any questions on today's chapter?
Mataji,
Yes.
When Mataji was asking while you are explaining that, I mean, why you come for this material world, because I told a desire, but when Mataji told to become a super soul, so is that how do you
To become super soul? Why didn't notice that? No, not to
No,
become. I think
no,
maybe to
Mataji.
please super soul something. Not become. How can you become? I didn't get it. What
No,
did she say?
Mataji. I mean, this is like Mataji.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm asking you, Mataji. I mean, can you? I mean, this is not the. I mean, to become a super soul is not the correct way, na Mataji. Only desire is the.
Yeah. You can't become. See, we are separate. Krishna is separate. We cannot never become that. No. Krishna says in chapter 15 that he is above. I mean, there are two kind of entities: Kshara, Akshara. The material world, we are all Kshara. Okay, we are fallible. And then there are people who in the spiritual world who are infallible, means their goal, their understanding, they have that Krishna is the ultimate. I mean, he is the supreme Lord. But we are not like that. We fall down. And Krishna says, I am above that. He is Adokshaja. So there is no question of merging or to become a super soul. No. Yeah, actually for desire. We only come because of the desires. Yes, you are right.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Is anyone else has any question? Sushmita Mataji, you had your unmuted. Anything you have any doubt?
After hearing this class, we are thinking that why did we decide to come to this material world?
Yes, what to do? We don't remember now. No?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. But then even after coming now also it's okay. But did we stop desiring? Our desires are never ending. No? It's always there. Something or other thing is always there. So we have to at least now we can by guidance of Srila Prabhupada and our Shiksha Gurus, we can take that and we can try to dovetail, I mean, the change our desires from material to spiritual. Yeah.
Yes,
Hare
Mata.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, what I'll do, it's already 8:30, so the shloka should we do now one time or shall I post it in the group? You said, you tell me. Very less people also. Anyone practicing here or no?
Yes, Mataji, I am practicing.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we do? Shall we?
Post it, Mataji. Okay.
I will. Okay, fine. Okay. Then we say 3 times Hare Krishna and then we can close. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavad Pranam. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.